Commander Zixara's secondary eyes flickered across the scanning console, her crystalline fingers dancing over the holographic interface with practiced efficiency. The patrol shift had been routine for the past 3 cycles, monitoring the dead zone near the Epsilon Nebula, watching for smugglers or rogue asteroids. Nothing ever happened here. That was the point. Then the alarm shrieked, her primary heart seized. The radar signature bloomed across her screen like a nightmare taking shape. She knew that configuration. Every officer in the Galactic Coalition knew it, even though most insisted it was mythology, propaganda from the old wars. "Spirits preserve us," she whispered in her native tongue. "It's them." Ensign Krilltalk looked up from his station, his antenna quivering. "Commander, what signature is that? I don't recognize the human." She cut him off, her voice barely audible. The word hung in the recycled air of the bridge like a curse. The young ensign laughed nervously. "Commander, respectfully, humans are extinct. The entire species was supposedly wiped out 400 standard years ago, when their star went supernova. It's in every history file. They're just stories we tell cadets to keep them alert." Zixara's gaze remained fixed on the screen. The ship was holding position at the edge of their sensor range, close enough to be detected, far enough to remain mostly obscured. It was deliberate. They wanted to be seen. "I was there," she said quietly. 237 years ago. I was a junior officer aboard the dreadnought Eternal Dominion, when we encountered a human colony ship in the frontier sectors. Krilltalk's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Commander, that would make you old enough to know better than to dismiss legends." She pulled up the archives, her hands moving with urgency now. "The Coalition didn't erase humans, we tried. The Council deployed 12 full battle fleets to their home system. Do you know how many species we've successfully eliminated in our 10,000-year history? 73, I think. 72. Zixara's voice carried an edge sharp enough to cut steel. "Humans are the only species that survived an extermination order. Not because we showed mercy, we showed none, but because we couldn't finish the job." She brought up the footage from that day, stored deep in her personal files, encrypted and classified. The view screen flickered to life, showing a small human vessel, barely larger than a frigate, facing down the most powerful warship in the Coalition fleet. "They didn't run," she continued, her voice distant with memory. "That's what you need to understand about them. Every other species, when faced with overwhelming force, either surrenders or flees. Humans, they sent us a message." Krilltalk leaned closer to the screen. The video showed the human ship, scarred and clearly outmatched, transmitting a simple text communication. "You want to fight? Come and take it." "Our captain laughed," Zixara said. "He ordered full weapons. We hit them with everything. Plasma cannons, rail slugs, quantum torpedoes. Enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. And do you know what happened?" The ensign shook his head, transfixed. "They improvised." The video showed the human ship executing maneuvers that defied their own documented technology. They redirected our plasma back at us using their damaged shields as mirrors. They launched their own life pods like kinetic missiles, filled with their reactor coolant, which turned out to be highly explosive when mixed with our hull composition. They hacked our targeting systems mid-battle and made our point defense guns shoot each other. On screen, the mighty Eternal Dominion listed to starboard, alarms wailing, as the tiny human ship darted through the debris field like a predator. "We lost 17 ships that day to a single human frigate," Zixara said. "Not because they had better weapons or shields. They didn't. But they had something we'd never encountered before, the absolute refusal to accept defeat. They turned their weaknesses into weapons. They made our strengths into vulnerabilities. And when we finally boarded their ship..." She paused, the memory still vivid after 2 centuries. "There were only 43 humans aboard, 43 against thousands of our warriors. They fought us in the corridors with whatever they could grab, pipes, tools, their bare hands. One of them used an emergency fire suppression system to freeze an entire deck. Another reprogrammed their medical bay to release surgical nanites that attacked our nervous systems. Their captain held the bridge for 6 hours with nothing but a broken chair leg and tactical brilliance that would shame our greatest generals." Krilltalk stared at the screen, then at the current radar signature. "What happened to them?" "We captured 12 survivors. They were laughing." Zixara's voice cracked slightly. "Covered in their own blood. Outnumbered, outgunned, their ship destroyed, their species declared extinct. And they were laughing. One of them looked at our admiral and said, "You just started a war you can't win. We're not the last. We'll never be the last." The bridge fell silent except for the steady ping of the radar. "The coalition ordered information suppression," she continued. "Declared humans extinct to prevent panic. But I've monitored deep space chatter for 2 centuries. There have been sightings, whispers, ships that vanish, pirate stations that go dark, and always that same human defiance. What do we do, Commander?" Kriltalk's voice trembled. Sixara straightened in her command chair, making a decision that would either save their lives or end her career. She opened a general hailing channel, knowing the human ship could hear her. "Attention, unidentified vessel. This is Coalition Patrol Ship Dawn's Justice. We mean no hostile intent. Our government lied about your extinction. I was there. I saw what you're capable of, and I have no wish to repeat history." Silence stretched across the void. Then, a response crackled through their speakers, a human voice, female, with an accent unlike anything in Coalition databases. "Smart choice, Commander. We've been watching you. Your patrol route takes you near 12 Coalition black sites where human prisoners are still held. We're going to give you coordinates. You're going to look the other way when we liberate them. In exchange, we won't tell the rest of humanity where to find your homeworld." Sixara's blood chilled. "The rest of humanity? How many of you survived?" A laugh echoed through the channel, that same terrifying human laughter she remembered from 2 centuries ago. "Enough. We scattered to 1,000 worlds, Commander. We adapted. We evolved. We waited, and now," the voice hardened to steel, "now we remember what your coalition tried to do. So here's the deal. Help us save our people, or pray we never decide to come for yours." The transmission ended. The radar signature vanished as quickly as it had appeared, leaving only empty space and impossible questions. Kriltalk looked at his commander with wide eyes. "Are you going to report this?" Sixara stared at the coordinates now displayed on her screen. 12 locations she'd never seen in any official database. She thought of those 43 humans fighting with broken chair legs and improvised weapons. She thought of what they might become with centuries to prepare, to plan, to remember. "No," she said finally. "I'm going to help them. Because the only thing more dangerous than an enemy who won't die," she met her ensign's gaze, "is an enemy who forgives nothing and forgets nothing. And I'd rather humanity remembers us as allies than targets." As their ship altered course toward the first coordinates, Sixara whispered a prayer to spirits she'd stopped believing in centuries ago. Because now she knew the truth that the Coalition had tried to bury. Humans weren't legends, they were inevitability.